On this podcast, our teen hosts discuss real life with real people.
We hope to inspire others by sharing stories of individuals and pairs of friends who have dealt with mental health challenges or just the ups and downs of life and discussing what brought them healing and inner peace.
In these episodes, we also talk about the role that friendship and connection plays in a person's emotional well-being.
Subscribe to this podcast to be a part of our Friends on Air family.
Friends on Air!
So we run a podcast called Friends on Air, Erin, and it's focused around teen mental health. And our hope is that all of our listeners feel supported and cared for and understood. And we talk about all different types of mental health struggles. But we're also from Friendship Circle. Are you familiar with Friendship Circle?
I am.
Awesome. So because you work for Achieva, right?
Yes.
And we're from Friendship Circle, I thought it would be cool to answer a couple of questions and have a little conversation here. And the first question that came to mind that I think all of us can answer is, what is the best part or your favorite part of being part of a community and a organization that is so inclusive? Do you want to go first?
One of them is I will say just the community where I live, and I'm just enjoying like all the things I love to listen to, and just getting new ideas about broadcasting.
Awesome. What's your favorite part about working at Achieva?
I work at Achieva on the south side, and I also work in development and communications.
Nice. Sounds like a fancy job. I don't have that fancy of a job description up my Naomi, how about you? What's your favorite part of being part of a inclusive organization?
Definitely just like the safe environment, for sure. You just walk in and feel so welcome and comfortable.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say something similar. Also just like knowing that someone's going to have your back, and like at the end of the day you have like a place to go to, and like a kind of like a safe space kind of. Also just like a place where you feel like you can just like be.
Love that.
I mean, like, I agree with everything that they both said. Literally, almost use the same exact words as Bracha. Like, it's the place that I go, like, on a Sunday if I, like, need just a break from, like, you know, my house or whatever. I can just, like, go and offer some help. Of course, like, not all the time are they open, but, like, typically I can text someone from there. Like, the staff are always willing to help out and, you know, reach out and, you know, hey, how are you doing? It's like something to remind you that, like, when all else feels like everyone else is failing you, you have people there that are more than willing to help out in any way that's feasible for them and you.
Yeah, also to add to that, like, they're never going to be like, no, I'm not here, you can't come. It's always open with welcome arms, so you never feel like you're not welcomed, which is also a really good feeling, to feel welcomed.
And if they can't help you with, like, if they can't be the one to source, if they can't be your resource, they, like, try to help out.
Yeah.
And, like, find a resource for you. So it's, like, even if they can't help, they'll make sure you get help some way or another, you know.
Love that. Those are awesome answers. Ali, do you want to answer your favorite part about working at an inclusive organization?
So I love, like, going to meetings and pitching ideas that, like, let's say the Teen Wellness Host Committee has, and other organizations. Sometimes it can be a bit of a struggle for people to see the value behind your ideas, but you know, we have such a tight-knit community, and we're talking about wellness and we're talking about mental health, and instead of saying why or having to advocate for why the value is there, it's like, well, of course it's there. Like, how can we make it happen? I like the open door policy around, like, our ideas, and just that anything can be possible for our community to help support one another. I think it's amazing.
And
good question. Sorry.
One more thing.
I was going to ask you, Jennifer, if you wanted to answer.
What's the question again? What do I like about inclusion?
Yeah, your favorite part about working in, like, an inclusive environment or organization or community.
yeah, I don't know, like meeting people like Erin and magical things happen.
Aw.
It's like, I think, so where we used to have a space and we'll probably still use is called the Center for Media Innovation. And I think innovation requires diversity, requires different views. It's like, you know how you make kombucha or yogurt or whatever, you have a culture. You need all
I
kinds
love kombucha.
Need different kinds of things
We
to
could tell you
make
about
something ferment and happen.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know, that's an answer.
Beautiful answer.
Erin, I was wondering if you would say what you love most about Emmaus community.
What I love about Emmaus community, one, we get to have a lot of fun doing different activities, and we have several different, I can't even think of one thing.
Well, you live with your best friends. You say that a lot.
Actually, I live with two of my best friends.
Aw. Sounds like a party.
Mm-hmm.
I live with CC Wagner, CC Wagner, her mom and dad are the founders of Emmaus community.
Oh, got it.
And me and CC's been like this.
Aw, sweet.
And then with what the one person that keeps me, actually I have two that keep me grounded. Besides CC Wagner and my BFF, Marissa J. Niwa.
Nice.
I've never heard the J part or the Jane. Is it Jane or J?
Marissa Jane.
Okay.
But I also have one thing to add for Friendship
yeah.
Circle, just because as we were talking as teens, the main thing that I love about Friendship Circle, especially the teen part, is how the events and the podcast is, like, not the podcast totally, but, like, it's about, like, mostly of it is about teen mental health, and it's not just, like, adults talking about it and adults giving their opinions, but it's also teenagers giving how they're living, like talking about their experiences as being a teenager, rather than listening to an adult talk about how it was or how they think it is. It's having actual kids who are experiencing, you know, depression or whatever it is in their daily life, and being able to talk about it in the events, like being like thought about by kids and teens for them. So it's more of like, it's the ability to go to an event that you can resonate with, and like the ideas.
For you, by you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love.
Also,
We have a
like,
quote that we.
oh yeah, sorry, go.
No, we have one of the quotes that we.
This actually segues into the question that I was going to ask next, but one of the quotes that we stand by is nothing about us without us. And I think that goes for disability, mental health struggle, anything, like age group. You don't want to determine anything for any group of people or community or minority without including them in the conversation. And that is super important to us. It's super important to me personally. So we definitely, that's something that we really try to emphasize. So I'm glad that it translates that way, because that means that we're doing a good job.
An amazing job.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that, like, even just, like, for example, like, being on a podcast, or, like, being, like, planning different programs for, like, mental health, or even not just mental health, you, like, feel so good about yourself, and, like, you're, like, helping others, and you're, like, doing stuff that, like, not everyone gets a chance to do. Like, for me personally, I always say, like, one of the best decisions I ever made was joining Friendship Circle. Like, it's always, like, a light to my day. Like, I'll tell my mother, like, oh, I'm going out. She's like, where are you going? And I'm like, Friendship Circle. She's like, do you go anywhere else? And, like, she's right. Like, I always go to Friendship Circle. Like, I just love Friendship Circle. So, like, I'm happy. I'm proud that I'm here all the time.
That's so sweet.
It's the same with my mom. Every time you could check my history of texts, the only questions I get asked from my mom is either what do you want for dinner or where are you? And each time that the question is where are you, it's always Friendship Circle. I have like a string of maybe 20 texts, and it's just a correlation between me and my mom, and it's where are you? Hi, I'm at Friendship Circle. Great. What would you like for dinner? It's like almost nightly at this point, because I do so much with Friendship
And
Circle.
it's like such a good feeling.
I wouldn't trade it for anything. I love it.
Yeah, there's so many times like I walk into Friendship Circle and I maybe had a hard day and not feeling the best, and I'll walk out and I'll be like in such a good mood and just like happier, and like even if I didn't necessarily like fix what was going on, I was just like in like a happy, positive environment where I just walk out and I'm like, my day's better now. Like I can have a good rest of my day.
Well,
Well, guys, this was not supposed to be like a friendship circle plug, but that was super sweet to hear. I had a question for Erin, because you've been broadcasting and podcasting before any of us here, I think. I'm pretty sure. When did you start? Can you like tell us a little bit about your experience?
Maybe 5 years ago. I'm kind of
Wow.
How I first got started.
Yeah, how you
About
first...
5 years ago, yeah.
Did you ask that?
One of my interviews that I have done, and it's kind of hits me personally, because my mom and dad raised me to be someone who they cared about, and they kind of taught me so many different things that I do understand, and even not even when I was born, because I don't know. So, but somehow I don't know where I got to being broadcasting, and I kind of trying to put it together, and I got a funny feeling. One of my relatives who I didn't know really well, and I think that's where I got it from, is one of my family members who I didn't know. But the interview that I have done, and Jennifer was with me at my mom and dad's house on Green Commons Drive, and the interview that who I interviewed was my mom and dad.
Oh, that's sweet.
And that is one of the award-winning interviews.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was a great story. I love the storyline, and I really did. And my mom gave the great edition of what you call growing up with 6 kids.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm one of 6.
So are we.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also, Bracha?
I'm one of 7.
Oh.
Almost.
I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
Wow.
I know you
I'm
did.
the youngest of 6.
Oh,
That's
wow.
fun. You're the baby of the family?
Yes, I am.
Probably this.
Oh, we could have a whole podcast on that.
So the interview that I did on my mom and dad, actually that went, I would say, amazingly well.
And Jennifer just said that you were awarded for that episode.
Yes.
How many, I mean, we know because we discussed it before, but for the listeners, how many how did you get to receiving, how many awards did you get, first of all?
I'm not sure how many.
We said
Like around, oh.
2 with your 2 with your name on them, and 2 as a team. So 4.
That is a lot of awards for podcasts.
So the piece that Erin is talking about was really excellent. It's called Raising a Child with Down Syndrome.
Nice. I'll have to go listen. I would love to hear your
Yes,
parents
raising
talk.
a child with disabilities, and after that interview, that Christmas, I lost my dad.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So it's been difficult the first time, so it's each day I get better and better. So it makes me feel good, but I still can hear his smile, his love for me. I just listen to his voice.
So all of you should interview your parents.
Yeah.
That's so mean.
I interviewed my grandparents.
I went through it all because I'm a lot. I don't want to say making all my, not all my family, the ones I didn't know before I was born. So my mom going to show me pictures of the people I didn't know, even my great grandmother.
Wow. I wanted to say thank you for sharing that with us. Something that we try to talk about also is like real life. And sometimes real life comes with really hard things and really sad things. And it's really difficult to talk about sometimes, but we're all about that, like wanting to have that conversation. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You never know. Somebody else might be struggling in that way, and you could have just inspired them.
So what I do is
Thank you.
I kind of go to my room and I kind of find my own place, and that sometimes I even when I lost my dad, I do binge eating and I can't stop, so I try to hide it that way, but it didn't go really well. So then it went well, but sometimes they find me when I'm see what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was actually one of the questions that I was thinking to ask everybody in the circle, and maybe you could start.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's clapping.
I mean, personally, I would clap. That's like so brave of you to share with us. So,
Yeah, oh, sorry. That was a
props
comment.
to you for being able to share like
Who's
your
clapping for
story
you?
and be like very real about it. Because personally, as someone who's like struggled with difficult trauma responses, it's really helpful to hear someone else be real and honest about ways that they've coped, and it helps know that it helps me know that like I'm not the only person that deals with the trauma responses that I have. And it's although it's not like something that like is easy, it's definitely helpful to hear other people have the same issues with me, and something that we can have a little bit of a bond about. And it's nice being able to share that with someone.
I just try to keep myself busy and do other things, and kind of sometimes when I'm at work I do the same thing, and I just concentrate on my work.
So she said something kind of quickly, and I was wondering if you're familiar with that term trauma. You know what that means?
I've heard about it.
What do you think it means? Do you know?
I'm not sure really.
So, I don't know, does anybody else, you're a therapist.
Oh yeah, Allie.
Sure.
Chime in, Allie.
Sure. So
Maybe
if
take the
you're not
microphone.
really sure what it means. We all have different responses. Basically, you said with the death of your father, it was hard. There's something, called like a Z code when we're talking about everybody has normal amounts of grief after something like that happens. People can have things happen in their life. We say they react in like maybe a neurotypical way, and then other people can have a different response to it. So we can have issues, with trauma responses, or we can have issues with PTSD. We can have depression, anxiety, things that extend far beyond what they say is like normal grieving times, which that varies culture to culture. Obviously, there's some variables, but if you're really finding yourself like struggling, in your responses, they're impacting your daily functioning. I think that's like the key. If you're finding that you're struggling socially, if you're struggling like with work or school and it's lasting for, months, like past weeks on end, months on end, and it's just not getting any better, then maybe it would be time to look into that. So
How would you define trauma?
it's complicated.
So,
But
use
yeah,
concrete
culture-
examples.
Sure.
So, a death of a family member,
Mhm.
if
Yes.
somebody's attacked, things that are normal,
Yeah.
like
Sure. So, and it
Actually-
might not be traumatic for everyone. For example,
Law and Order.
I was
Yeah.
on my way to see Jennifer, and I just getting off the bus and coming to see Jennifer at Point Park, and there's a couple of people behind me, and a guy came up to me and called me not so nice, something I didn't like, and I just kept on walking, kept on going.
yeah.
I know what he said, but I got my feelings. I just kept on going.
So first of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Obviously, it can be like really upsetting, especially when you're out and you're vulnerable and you feel like you're in a situation where, let's say like as a female or any other situation where you feel like threatened. Obviously, that's hard. if we're noticing, say for example, that happened to me, I was out in Squirrel Hill, and then I have a hard time like returning to that street. That's something that I can't do anymore. That would be kind of something to look into in terms of trauma, because I feel threatened and I'm avoidant of that area. Maybe it's impacting the way that I get to school in the morning. It's impacting my life and my functioning. Maybe I'm not meeting my friends at the same coffee shop that I usually meet them at because it's near where that situation happened. That would be like an example of, having that kind of a response, looking into that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a wrap-up question?
Yeah.
So no? Do you want to?
Kidding.
Well, it doesn't have to be a wrap-up question, but at the end of our podcast episodes, we always go around and say something that brings us joy. So, like, let's say when you were dealing with your hardship, something that brought you healing and helped you. So I was wondering if we could go around and you could start us off, Erin, with giving us tips on things that make you happy or help you.
What makes me happy is being around my family, friends, and also being with, learning new things from my producer, Jennifer Jordan.
Aw, sweet.
Learning new things, but she challenged me to a point I would love to do whatever I'm doing.
That's awesome.
Well, I was just going to say, I was going to ask her, do you remember the story about the balloon and your dad? Like, this is a specific thing that I don't know if it was a therapist or behavioral specialist.
After losing my dad, my behavior specialist, who was Tammy at the time, and she gave me a nice idea of, to send a balloon up to heaven to give to my dad. After losing him, I was a wreck. I had two different people come to see me. One of them was Karen Jacobson.
Oh, she's a director.
I know. And there was somebody else too who came to see me as well. So.
But you had a note for your dad on that balloon, right?
So I kind of tied a note around that balloon and sent it up to heaven, and it kept on going up. Wow. I mean, all the way up.
But that was the second time. Do you remember what happened the first
The
time?
first time, that did not go really well.
What happened the first time?
It kind of got wrapped around in wires.
Oh, no.
Okay. That's terrible. I have a last question until we go.
Before we go to the next person, I was just wondering, do you have any, sometimes people share like their favorite singer or their favorite book or movie. I was wondering if you had one to share.
I do.
Okay. Let's hear it.
One of my favorite singers in the whole wide world, and I dream on hoping to meet her someday.
Yeah.
Because one of the songs that she sang, like, I love being back down. And then the other thing is that one of the songs that she did, it was based on losing her dad. And one of the songs was Just Like Them Horses. And I felt the same, whatever she was feeling at the same time. That's what I felt like.
Wow. Who was the singer?
Mabel McIntyre was my all-time favorite country singer in the whole wide world. Wishing to meet her in person.
Yeah, maybe one day.
I'm manifesting it for you. I will manifest.
You should do a podcast with her.
Baseball players. I don't know why you shouldn't meet a professional singer.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Love it. Sweet. Do you want to go, Naomi? What's
Say
something
what?
that brings you healing or that you enjoy to do?
Definitely listening to music and reading. And I think just like taking care of myself, so taking like a couple hours of my day to just like do what's good for me. And so whether that's like doing a face mask or just like stuff to really take care of myself.
Love that.
And everything you said. Also, I really love like animals and like babies, and I have a lot of cousins, so I really like
babies.
like like animals. I love playing with animals, so that's like something that I love doing. And I do love playing with babies because baby therapy is a real thing. Yeah. And so I have some really cute cousins that live here, so I like to hang out with them and play with them. And I like to like prioritize myself and like be like something that I need and not think about what other people need and not think about like what other people in my life for like a little bit, just like focus on myself. Even if it's like not somebody else's favorite thing, if it's something for me, then that's more important. And like really like figuring out different ways of like self-love.
That's a beautiful answer. Self-love. Personally, I do the same things as you guys, the face masks and, I try to put myself first because that's definitely something I struggle with a lot because I grew up in a family where it was do whatever you can for people around you because one day you're going to need something. So when I feel low, I try to make sure that I'm actually putting myself first because that's something that I've realized that it's critical to my own my well-being, but definitely listening to music. I have one of the like my Spotify Wrapped is like 90,000 minutes of listening, and it's like
Same.
It's like and then and then I use like other music platforms, so it's definitely music. Music is like what gets me through, but I'd have to say reaching out to people that I know I can have a good conversation with. I find that when I reach out to those people, they're able to set me in a mindset that's more positive, and I try to go for the people that can say things that make me laugh rather than I like to have talks with people that like are insightful, but I also like to go for my friends that like will say the most random things and make me laugh. That's something I like find myself doing as like a go-to to like cheer me up.
Good answer. I guess mine, I'm just going to answer my own question here, would be, well, actually, because we say this after we answer this question after every podcast, and at the end of every podcast, I'm always like, this is what I'm going to try to do, and this is what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to take all of your things, and I'm going to implement them into my life, and I'm going to be a perfect human. And that obviously doesn't happen, but something that I did start since last episode that I said I was going to start is playing guitar more often.
Wow.
Ooh, yes. Yay. So it's been very healing and just very therapeutic to, even if it's like not a song, just to like play the strings and the sounds.
Just strum it. It's a really good feeling.
Yeah. So that's mine.
It's a song that I love to sing, but I can't do it right now because I don't have Wi-Fi to do it. So.
Is it a popular song that we could sing with you?
Actually, it's a song that from my favorite country singer. So.
What's it called?
And one of the always makes me want to get up and dance.
Oh, fun.
What's the name of the song?
Look it up.
I Won't Stand in Line by Reba McEntire.
Ooh, I don't know it. I wish I could sing it with you.
Mm-hmm. And I use my earbuds and I sing to it, and I also dance it as well. I love to dance.
Yeah. I was gonna say dancing is my second thing. Really I think dancing is so
I love to dance. Actually, when I was young, me and Marissa, we took ballet.
Nice.
And our very first dance teacher, Colleen Novice, and she taught us how to do ballet. And when she walked in and said, I taught her how to dance. That was her words.
That's wonderful. I got kicked out of dance class.
Oh no!
Well, no, like in preschool. It's okay, guys. I had too much energy.
I kind of use that.
You can, yeah.
Instead of thinking about my dad, I kind of use dancing, but mostly I want to sing mostly.
Yeah. Dancing and singing.
I use dancing in front of the mirror. I do that a lot. I go to the bathroom and I'll just look at myself in the mirror and I'll just dance. Cause like so seeing myself happy is important to me because rather than just being happy, I can see myself like being happy, and it puts me in like a, oh look, she's in her environment type feel, and I need that. Yeah.
We have people who take like their little lunch breaks and stuff at Friendship Circle, and They will sing and dance like in our offices, and you can still like hear it, and it's actually the most wonderful thing.
Allie, what would your answer be to this question?
So I realized like a lot. I was just sitting here thinking, and I was like, a lot of my answers on the podcast are related to like, I don't know, physical wellness, and I wanted to like how you're, you know, trying out working with the guitar and, you know, involving more personal music experiences. I wanted to try something different, really kind of related to like, I would say like emotional or even like spiritual wellness. I'm just trying to talk to myself in a very compassionate way, which is more challenging than you would think it is, right? Like we get into these very negative self-talk patterns, but I was having a conversation with my husband yesterday about something that I'm really worried about, and he basically said like the fact that you're worried about it shows how much you care and that you're passionate about it, and that, you know, all those core foundations that make you fundamentally like a good human, you have to hold on to that, not like whether it's perfect. Okay, we need to remember that. Like,
yeah, it's a good one. Jennifer, do you want to answer the question?
Sure. I'm Jennifer.
she looks ready to go.
Yeah. Wait. So it's something that brings me joy.
Yeah. Or healing or anything
Oh.
like that.
Yeah. I mean, I went ice skating here yesterday. I like doing things like that.
That's so adventurous.
Lots of things I like involve water, and so my dad lives in Florida, and my stepmom. So I go there, like I was just there for 2 weeks, a couple weeks ago. And so going to the ocean is very spiritual experience for me. It's kind of the only place I can completely forget everything else because it's surrounded by the water and the sound. And when I was there the other day, there were like a lot of shells. I don't know, it was high tide, low tide, whatever. But like when the water went back on them, it was like a wind chime. It was like on all the shells.
So cool.
It was really cool. Yeah, I didn't know that so much, and I came back and I started to tell my stepmom, "Oh, the shells." She's like, I was like, "Yes."
She already knew.
She already knew.
Nature is the best. I said nature is the best.
Yeah.
I love the water. I was a lifeguard over the summer, and before the kids would come, we'd get there like an hour early, and then also like when the kids weren't there, like in between our lunch break, I would just do laps for fun because I realized that like at first I used to like be scared of like swimming, and over the summer I just realized like just being under like so many layers, like I love going to the 12 feet, like the bottom, and just like being like surrounded by it, just being like fully embraced by it. It's such a calming feeling. I just love it.
Being under 12 feet of water doesn't scare you?
Well, you can always come back up.
I mean, I had so much training, I wasn't that worried.
Yeah.
I love meeting new people and meeting new friends that help me get through what I had some rough times with, and having great friends that help me get through what I did. Having great friends and people that love me, that cares to help me out.
We loved meeting you, Erin. Thank you for being
Yes,
with us.
thank you so much for having us, Jennifer and Erin. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
And also thank you, Ayala, for giving us the ride, and Allie for being here with us through everything. Allie's like also my like third or fourth therapist because, you know, I come to Allie and I'm like, Allie, here's what happened, and I'm going to need you to listen for 15 minutes, and I was always lamenting here, so thank you, Allie.
Also, this is a really cool space.
Love this space.
This is a cool space. Shout out to the space.
Shout out to the Pittsburgh Media Hub. Should we do a little outro?
We need an outro.
Sure.
We can try both. Let's do our own, for this special episode, let's do our own little sign off. So, peace out from Ayala. Your turn, Rivka.
Signing out from Pittsburgh, PA.
Signing out with Bracha over here.
Woo!
Naomi over here is signing out.
This is Erin Gannon from Look Who's Here.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was
I
definitely.
think we all need to practice ours.
This is Allie. We are at the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University, and we are so excited to be working with All Abilities Media and meeting new friends tonight.
Signing out from Friends on Air. Woo!